Hey guys, how y'all doing today? My name is Franchise Fanatic and welcome back to the channel. And today, if you guys, is a massive Marvel video. This is actually pretty crazy news actually. You're seeing some LEGO Marvel superheroes gameplay right now of Deadpool and Wolverine for a reason. Yes, we obviously got the Deadpool 3 trailer during the Super Bowl. We're not going to talk about the game. I watched it. It was fine. A few dumb woke commercials, a few ones that were pretty funny. The game itself, was alright. But what I was really there for, besides the football and all that, was obviously the trailers. And the big one was, of course, Deadpool 3, a.k.a. Deadpool and Wolverine. And this is crazy for a few reasons. Because not only is this the only MCU movie that we're getting this year, it's also one of the biggest, probably MCU properties of all time. I mean, this is a big freaking deal. I mean, not only is it the third Deadpool film, but it's also bringing back Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. Of course, Ryan Reynolds is back as Deadpool. And, of course, as you can see in the trailer, which will be in the description down below, I'm just not showing clips for copyright and all that, but, you're going to see some gameplay. You get the idea. But, yeah, you'll have the link down if you want to go watch it. But it kind of starts out with Wade, kind of celebrating a birthday and all that with all his friends. Of course, everyone except, I believe, T.J. Miller and I think that might be it, but, you got Blind Al, you got Dopinder, you got freaking Negasonic Teenage Warhead, you got all those people. So that's cool, that Disney actually had them return. I think that's a really cool idea, because not only does that one, this little brief instance of the trailer, not only does that kind of show that, they got them back, it also shows that Deadpool 1 and 2 are officially canon to the MCU. Obviously, there's a little asterisk there because, you think of like Spider-Man No Way Home, right? You had Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield with MCU Tom Holland. So, yeah, technically, the Sam Raimi trilogy and the two Andrew Garfield movies, those are canon to the MCU. It's just that they're in a multiverse, right? Because we're in the multiverse saga. So, when I say that Deadpool 1 and 2 are now canon to the MCU, they are, but they're only canon in the terms of the multiverse stuff. So, it's not like, Captain America was actually in the background of Deadpool 1. Nothing effing crazy like that. It's just that's what it means. They're canon, but they're part of the multiverse. And that's really awesome, because if they weren't there, that wouldn't really have made sense. But the fact that they are there shows that, these movies, they're all connected, which is really, really awesome. And at the exact same time, you have other stuff that happens, like the TVA, right? They kind of knock over on Wade Wilson's door, and they're like, hey, you're effing with time, bro. You got to come with us. And, of course, he's got that crazy hairdo. But I like to think what happened is that Deadpool, at the end of Deadpool 2, got that weird-ass time thing, and he's kind of going throughout the different, multiverses, and he's shooting he's shooting himself, I guess. Ryan Reynolds, he's shooting him, so he doesn't play Hal Jordan. He tries to kill baby Hitler, which I think he should have done it. There's a lot of crazy stuff in there that kind of, bleeds into Deadpool and Wolverine, a.k.a. Deadpool 3. And that's really cool, because they're not, like, ignoring the past and just, it's Disney now, so, a new thing. Like, no, these are a, sequential order that you gotta watch these things in, and that's pretty friggin' cool. But yeah, the TVA shows up now. Full of disclosure, okay? I've seen Loki Season 1. I have not seen Loki Season 2. I know. I have to. I know, I'm bad. But I gotta watch it. I will. But yeah, I haven't seen it. But basically, the TVA shows up. Of course, the Time Variant Authority, I believe, from the Loki show, they kind of show up on his doorstep, and they take the wig off, and they shove him through a time portal, and there you go. And that's, of course, when Wade meets one of the TVA guys and all that. They kind of show him these, slideshows of all that, of the different Avengers movies. And when I saw Avengers Age of Ultron and freaking Winter Soldier and Thor Ragnarok and shit that's in the MCU, I freaked out, man. Because, we all knew that this was a Disney-led movie. Of course, Disney doesn't make Marvel, they just own it. It's still a Marvel movie. But this is the first MCU Deadpool outing, right? And the fact that they're actually acknowledging the other two, making them canon, and the fact that they're able to kind of take an R-rated property and mix it with a PG-13 property before that, is pretty freaking awesome. Now, my opinion, the MCU is not for children. Obviously, PG-13 is for teenagers, not children. Again, it's a different thing when you're talking about movies and franchises. Some people think a teenager is a kid. I don't really care. In terms of movies, it's not what it is, because clearly, PG is kid up, PG-13 is teen up, and 17 isn't really adult, because no one's an adult when you're 17, but you know what I mean. It's like high teen. Not like a high teen, but you know what I mean. So basically with that, you kind of have this, really awesome sequence of events happening where you're able to see Deadpool kind of interact with MCU things and just kind of acknowledge that, he's basically, like he says in the trailer, he's basically Marvel Jesus. in the sense that, yeah, he's kind of the bridge between the Fox. You know, we saw Professor X in Multiverse of Madness, and we saw Beast at the end of the Marvels. I think I'm the only person that saw that movie. It was a good-ass movie. It was a good movie. I don't know why people didn't see it. Oh, yeah, because it's women, but what are you going to do? Yeah, I do think that, you know, there are some X-Men things in here, but the fact that we're actually getting some, you know, concrete stuff regarding, you know, X-Men that was previously owned by Fox, and now we're able to kind of play in Disney's ballpark. It's freaking awesome, dude. Like, it's so cool, you know? I was freaking out during that. It was such a crazy thing, because I remember when Deadpool 1 came out, you know, it was like, okay, we get the MCU, then we get the Fox stuff, then we got the Sony stuff. Even the Sony stuff now, all of this stuff, the video games, the comics, they're all canon to the MCU through the multiverse. And I swear to God, that's the best thing that Disney did. Because they're able to take, you know, the Sam Raimi movies, the Garfield movies, the Deadpool movies, the video games, the Spider-Man PS4 games, all these things, and kind of blend them together and make them, you know, combine into one thing, and that's really awesome. I mean, speaking of Lego Marvel, the game you're seeing right now, you know, I remember when this game came out in 2013, and that was like right when, you know, Disney was like, no, Disney was doing the MCU, and then you had the Sony stuff, and then you had the Fox stuff, which was like X-Men and all that. Deadpool wasn't out until 2016, but, you know, Lego Marvel 1 really kind of pioneered the idea that you could have Disney, Sony, and Fox characters kind of, you know, coercing and you know, in a game together legally. And that was a big deal back in the day, because you were able to have Iron Man fly around with, you know, Beast, and then, I don't know, Spider-Man or something. It was insane. And it's really kind of cool when you play that game now, because all of this stuff is technically, it's either Disney-owned or they kind of share halvesies with you know, Sony. And I think that's really awesome that, you know, I'm able to play Lego Marvel again and be like, oh, man, Deadpool and Wolverine are in the same universe now, through the multiverse, of course, as, you know, Iron Man or Thor, Tom Holland, Spider-Man, Captain America, Hulk. It's pretty insane, man, what they're able to do. The trailer itself then goes on to, of course, you know, show a bunch of other random stuff. Pyro returns, the guy from the original X-Men. He's back. He's got a beard now. I didn't know that was him, but he's back. And then, of course, you got the first. I know Peter Quill said the F word in Guardians of the Galaxy 3, but like it's just, it's surreal. You know what I mean? Because, like, I know, as I say, the MCU isn't for kids, but it, you know, they didn't have any F words. Not that I need F words in a Marvel movie, but, you know, this is like a big deal for a lot of fans, because this is like this in, you know, it says Marvel Studios, and then Deadpool just goes, "Oh my fuck!" in the trailer, and it's crazy that they're able to do that. You know what I mean? It seems like it shouldn't be a big deal, because, you know, obviously swearing isn't that good, but it's a big deal for me and a lot of people, because Deadpool saying the F word is, I mean, that's not necessarily all his character, because if you read the Deadpool comics, he doesn't swear every 2 seconds, like in the movies, but it is a big deal because they're able to kind of say, okay, we can have a PG-13 universe with R-rated characters and R-rated movies in it. And I think that's really awesome, because again, the MCU was never made for children. It wasn't necessarily made for only adults, but it was made for teenagers and adults, right? So I think that's really cool that we're able to kind of have teenager-friendly properties and adult, but also have adult-only properties mixed in. You know, the DCEU kind of did it. You know, they had Batman v Superman, Suicide Squad, and then they had Birds of Prey, The Suicide Squad, you know, R-rated movies in a PG-13 environment, and that works, but this is the time Marvel's doing it, and it's really, really cool. And, of course, we're getting, you know, those obvious connections between Loki and the other MCU properties with the little slideshow that Wade watches. And then you just get the crazy action, you know what I mean? And it looks really effing cool. I mean, Deadpool loading his pistols, I mean, that looks sick. Of course, there is some blood and gore, but not a whole lot of gore, but there is blood. Of course, there is blood in the other Marvel movies, okay? It's not like a completely bloodless franchise, but Deadpool is an R-rated, you know, commodity, so to see that kind of happen within this world is pretty effing cool, you know? And just a little glimpses there. And then, of course, we kind of end with, you know, various action scenes and whatnot, and like the snow. Some people think when he puts his hand up and goes, "Wait!" like that, they think it's going to be like a redo of the first film on the bridge. Some people think, hey, it's a snowy environment. Maybe that's where the scene from Avengers Age of Ultron is. And, you know, the beginning of that film where the Avengers are kind of like beating the shit out of all those guys, you know what I mean, in the woods. It was an awesome scene. Maybe it's that. Or maybe there's a truck, you know, so maybe you know, he's going with Logan. He's going to resurrect him. We don't know. Of course, there's going to be a lot of speculation before this film comes out. I believe July 26th. So we still have some time yet, but the trailer blew my mind, man. As a Deadpool movie, Deadpool 3, Deadpool sequel, I'm happy with it. But as a movie that acknowledges the past while also bringing in Deadpool as a character and the Fox stuff as kind of a new area of the MCU, while still not only, like I said, acknowledging the past, but also acknowledging the current MCU with Loki and all these things. It's really, really cool. It's probably the smartest way for them to do it with the TVA, honestly, just because they're like the multiverse cops, essentially. And I think that's kind of cool that they're able to do that. And, now they can legally have all this stuff, man. It's been crazy. I remember, like I said, man, 2013 was not only Lego Marvel, but Iron Man 3 and all this stuff. And 2013 was really when I started getting into Marvel, because I wasn't really allowed to watch the movies before I was a teenager. So I was like, all right, I don't really give it, like, this looks effing cool, but I can't watch it, so whatever, And I was watching Scooby-Doo and SpongeBob. And to be honest, I'm 25, and I'm still watching Scooby-Doo and SpongeBob, okay? I'm not saying that's a bad thing. That's just what I was watching religiously. And now I'm also watching the MCU and all that, too. And it's just crazy to me that when I first started getting into Marvel, there were all these, roadblocks and barriers. Oh, this isn't part of that. And this universe isn't part of this universe because of legalities and money. It's just very confusing. And now the fact that, I don't want to say Disney owning everything, Monopoly style is an effing, is a godsend. But it's certainly more, it's less confusing, but it's also better as a fan. Because now I can have all this stuff kind of, mixed together, which is really cool. And I'm definitely excited to, see what this is going to have in store for the future of the MCU. And then, of course, the ending is Deadpool gets kind of... I guess when he's reloading his pistols, you see it, but he kind of gets knocked out of a wall, and you see the 20th Century Fox stuff, which, sadly was revealed via, rejects and a-holes online who post spoilers and all that. You can't stop that. Really, they did a good job with No Way Home, but again, that shot of Andrew holding the pipe or whatever, that got out, and everyone freaked out. Oh, it's a deep fake. Oh, it's fake. It's real. It was just whatever. It was a cesspool of death over there, and it's very cool to see that we're getting this stuff, and we're like literally Deadpool is literally fighting on the 20th Century Fox logo. That's freaking crazy cool. But it does suck that it kind of got spoiled a little bit from some reject. I guess I could say that, right? You know what I mean. Some idiot with a phone. It's just, I don't know, man. It's kind of infuriating to see that. But, because I like the fact that I saw this stuff. But at the same time, it's like I want to see it in the theater. Not from some dude with a phone, the potato quality phone. I don't want to see that, So it's kind of annoying, but it's good and bad at the same time, but I guess it's mostly bad. But yeah, it's just crazy. And then, of course, you see him kind of, laying down, and then you see the silhouette of Wolverine, the ching, the claws come out, and he's about to stab him. You see him for like half a second, and it's a funny bit in the trailer. It works. And obviously, we've seen pictures of him in the uniform that are official. We've definitely seen Hugh Jackman in the Wolverine comic accurate costume, which is cool. It's really interesting that we're actually seeing that. And I get why they kind of clouded it off for the trailer and all that, but overall, man, this trailer looks bonkers. It looks insane. Like I said, as a Deadpool trailer, it hits all the hits all the notes I wanted it to hit. In terms of an MCU Deadpool offering, I'm happy it's R-rated, because I absolutely hate when these idiots online are like, I hope they don't make it squeaky clean for babies, and I'm like, just because the word Disney is in front of something doesn't mean it's automatically geared for newborn fetuses. Fetuses. You know what I mean? Like, people associate Disney with toddler. It's like, no. Yes, there's stuff Disney makes for literal babies. And then there's stuff that Disney makes for everyone, like their animated content. And then they don't make it. They own the stuff, like Star Wars and Marvel, for example, that are for teenagers and adults. And I hate when they're like, hopefully it won't be squeaky clean. It's just, I don't like that. The MCU is, if you actually watch the MCU, they are not for children. Like, I know they're PG-13 and they're for teens up, not adults up, but there's some pretty effed up stuff in these movies. I personally wouldn't take a kid to see them. That's just me. I know each parent, I'm not a parent, but each parent or person is different. At least I don't think I'm a parent. But it should be cool to, kind of figure out what's going on with all this at the end of the day, like I said. And I'm glad that they're keeping it R-rated, and I'm glad that they're doing this, and I'm glad that they're, again, acknowledging Deadpool 1 and 2, because now, just like I said with Sony and No Way Home, or even you look at the end credit scene of, what was it, Venom, I think it was It was, I don't know what movie it was. Maybe Morbius, I don't know. But, oh yeah, Morbius. We see freaking Vulture interact with, an MCU character interact with a Sony character. Or whatever, I think it was maybe the No Way Home post-credits. Whichever movie, tell me in the comments. It's where Venom is in, like, the house or whatever, and he's watching Tom Holland's Spider-Man on a TV. That's crazy. Because we're able to get, now that, of course, Disney owns Fox, so they can legally have that. But Disney can now work with Sony to have, like the new Madam Web movie that's coming out on Valentine's Day tomorrow. At the time of posting this, hopefully, we're able to actually see these characters interact. And again, as a superhero fan, I know the MCU hasn't been necessarily hitting all the home runs I wanted them to hit, but hopefully we can put the agenda behind us and just put up good content again, which this looks like it's going to be. I know some people, Deadpool is woke. It's all part of the comedy. Deadpool is kind of his own thing. I think left-leaning or right-leaning people, they don't really care because it's like that's his character. That's the point. That's where the comedy comes from. Making She-Hulk woke and Miss Marvel woke and all these things woke. It's just no one liked them because they weren't really good, but also they had agendas that were shoved down our throat. And I'm not going to drown on this, but it is really cool to see that hopefully with Quantumania, Guardians Volume 3, I'm assuming Loki Season 2, and then, of course, Echo. I haven't seen Echo yet either. I really want to see that. That technically is the first R-rated MCU thing because it's an MA show, which is the equivalent of an R-rated film. But it is cool to see that we're getting more mature content that is for, you get the teens up, and then you get the adults up. I think that's really cool. And I'm excited to see where this goes, man. Deadpool is a really good character. But, man, tell me, when the first one came out in 2016, man, I remember Alan, he saw it, and he was like, oh, dude, this is such a good movie. And I was like, I wanted to kill him because I wasn't old enough to watch it, and my parents are a little strict. They were a little strict, and they were like, this is R-rated. He says the F word, and there's boobies. You can't watch this. And I was like, but Mama, I didn't sound like that at age 16, okay. But still, 13, whatever. You get the idea. It was kind of weird. And now that, obviously I'm 25, I can watch whatever I want, thank God. At least I think so. We'll have to see. But I'm excited to see where that's leading because now, again, the doors are open for me as a fan, but also for millions of people that just want to see Deadpool and Wolverine in the MCU. Because at the end of the day, look, the MCU's had some misfires, okay? They've had some weird things. But the MCU genuinely and generally, in my opinion, I think even though we're getting some dog water stuff like She-Hulk and Miss Marvel, okay, they're still watchable. Like, I'm not going to pretend She-Hulk is an unwatchable mess. It's not good at all. But when I do my MCU rewatch, which again, I swear, I promise you it's still happening. I promise, I will be rewatching it. So, at the end of the day, yeah, I love the MCU. I'm not one of those toxic people that goes on Reddit and just bitches for 6 hours. The MCU is dead and they killed it. I'm not one of those people. I don't like the agenda, whether left or right, and they've been doing that. It's always left, fun fact. But I do think it's going to be cool to kind of see where we're going when they do shove that to the wayside and just focus, again, on giving us quality content. And, Moon Knight, Loki Season 2, I'm assuming Loki Season 1, we've gotten a lot of that. Shang-Chi is a great movie. So I'm not saying that all of it past Endgame is bad. Basically, none of it is. There's only a few little, exceptions there. But I do think that it should be really interesting, like I said, moving forward, now that we're able to have these characters in and see them interact. This is, like I said, a big deal for a lot of people, including myself. And I figured it'd be best to play Lego Marvel because now I can have all these characters kind of, interact. I mean, there's 150 characters in this game. That's kind of nothing now, but back in 2013, that was crazy. It's a great game, but I thought it would kind of best showcase what I'm trying to talk about, by kind of playing this and just showing that, yeah, I mean, the MCU is expanding. Not only in its own universe, but through the multiverse as well. We're getting, like I said, Toby, Andrew, Deadpool, all these older movies that were never considered canon to the MCU. Now they are. And regardless of whether you like those Sony Fox things or not, they're officially part of the MCU through the multiverse. And that, to me, is a big, big, big deal. Because it just opens the door for all these new possibilities, man. I mean, we're getting a new Blade movie. Eternals was... I didn't mind Eternals. There's a few things in there I didn't agree with, but Eternals was whatever. So, Moon Knight's amazing. Hopefully we get a Season 2 of that. So, the MCU is going to get bigger, and it better get better. Because I'm not going to lie and say that it's all been bad, but some of it's been a little wonky. But Deadpool, especially Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, man, but Deadpool and Wolverine looks amazing. and I'm very glad that they're integrating what came before with the new stuff, again, mostly with TVA and all that. It's going to be a really, really fun time, I think, and I can't wait to see it and review it. So tell me down below in the comments what you think about Deadpool 3, a.k.a. Deadpool and Wolverine. I said the word Deadpool 100,000 times at this point. If someone could tell me in the comments, I'd really appreciate it. I'll pin your comment if you count how many times. It's a 20-minute video, so don't do that. I'm just saying that. Anyway, but if you do it, I will pin you, but don't do it. That's a waste of your time. Anyway, I can't wait to cover more Deadpool and Wolverine and more MCU stuff. Again, I am doing the MCU rewatch. Hope you enjoyed the LEGO Marvel gameplay. And yeah, again, tell me down below what you think about this. Are you happy? Are you excited? Me, personally, as you can probably tell, I'm excited, and I can't wait to see what they do from here. Thank you guys, and we'll see you in the next video.